I'm going to try to explain what I mean by accepting death. Because I don't want you watching this video and coming to the conclusion I'm talking about killing the ego, because that is the... It still blows my mind people make that, use that analogy, kill the ego. It's like, why would you kill the ego? Like, really think about how you're phrasing that. Kill the ego. You don't want to kill the ego. That's insanity, is what that is. If you truly, if you took that literally, kill the ego, and you literally killed the ego, like, what would that be called? Really, would that not be called suicide? So I'm not saying kill the ego. I'm saying accept the death of the ego. Two completely different things. Accepting the death of the ego and killing the ego are opposite ends of the spectrum here. So accepting the death of the ego, simply put, means this. You realize you're playing a character. You realize you have been playing a character. You realize that you made a story up. You realize that not only have you made the story up, but you've been creating some of it as you go along. You realize that you are not Blake Ratliff. You were never Blake Ratliff. And so you choose to cut ties, even though you don't really cut ties with Blake Ratliff, because you are in there. You just fully accept and admit that you were playing a character called Blake Ratliff. And you fully admit and accept and realize and understand why we did this the way we do it. We like a challenge. We like to overcome things. This is the premise of this story. That's why things happen the way they happened. And I truthfully think we may be addicted, to be honest. Like, I don't think we're addicted to the experience, because that is, I mean, that's just what we do. But I do think we're addicted to going down deep, burying shit on top of ourselves and pulling ourselves up through it and overcoming things. I think that is what we're addicted to. I'm not entirely sure, but in order to become you, you have to fully keep the mask off and accept the death of Blake Ratliff. Accept you were never Blake Ratliff. You're still alive. What would you call that? If you are 100% accepting and admitting you are not the person you thought you were, if you're 100% accepting and admitting that that was a character you were playing, what would you consider that if not death? That is the death of the ego. Accepting the death of the ego. So, that is what you need to do. That is what you need to do. So hopefully that will clarify some things. And briefly, I would like to touch on this. Do you not find it heartbreaking? I mean, really, do you not find this heartbreaking that you will look up to someone and, like, you'll do exactly what you said not to do, and you'll put somebody on a pedestal and you'll look up to them? Isn't it heartbreaking to not realize, isn't it heartbreaking to realize that you didn't even see the same qualities in yourself, and quite literally that story is about you, if you can read it right? I don't know, that's pretty heartbreaking to me. That seems like the ultimate heartbreak to me, not seeing yourself for what you are, and having to project that into other people to see the beauty in yourself and others. Why do you think you were so obsessed with that story? Because it is you. That is the story. We're just telling it in a way better way. So, even though that story was told in a perfect way, if you can read through it, it's just how fucking far did you have to go? Like, how much of your mind did you have to lose to be able to fully read the story, though? You see what I mean? This is why I say not to take things and, like, try to play with them with a human mind, because later on, when you have understood more, you can circle right back to a story or a metaphor and understand it on deeper levels to where you actually get it. That's why you're chasing your tail and spinning your wheels if you don't fully understand it. So do you just not think it's odd that in that story the man stood up to authority? Do you not think it's odd in that story the man went around doing kind acts, preaching love to people, preaching, motivating people, preaching for them to do the right thing, spread truth, love, and light? And do you not think it's weird that he got crucified? What does that story really tell you? If you take the sin of the world on your shoulders and accept death, and you're resurrected later, that would be a rebirth, wouldn't it? That would be accepting the death of the ego and a rebirth. You're still blind to your own beauty. You still got some of that character going on. You still are playing the, I don't know if I can do it, and I'm just so stuck and lost. And I'm not making fun of you. I'm really not, so please don't take it that way, but realize how ridiculous that is. Like, again, you're not some helpless victim in a sea full of 8 billion other victims on a rock flying through space. And I'm not being rude, please don't think I am, but I'm just saying you need to drop that victim mentality, because you are the furthest thing from a victim there is. So just follow your heart and listen to the voice in your head. If you listen to that voice and you follow your heart, you're great. If you don't chase any more rabbits, you're great. But you have to stand still. You have to open the heart and you have to free the mind. And while you're doing this, again, please think of what you would think heaven would be. And again, remember, it can't be too perfect. So if you would like a rebirth, I would suggest you accept death. And again, you have to know what death is. You do not die. I want to get out of here without a true death. We still will have a form of death, but I want to get out of here without a true death. I want to extend this to 1,000 years, and I want to bring a shift of heaven. I don't want it to be perfection, and I don't even want it to be heaven in the blink of an eye. What I do want, though, is some major improvements in the blink of an eye, and then keep it to where we can gradually improve. That's what I want. I would only change 3 or 4 things. That's just me, though. There's not too much to change to make this heaven. System, really. Just change the system. Get rid of death and disease for 1,000 years. Figure something better out. Well, just the system in general, really, is what we have to fix and figure out how to make it where it's not perfect, but to where it's more fair. Best way I can put it. And we need to make it to where we can gradually improve it over time. It cannot be perfect, and it cannot be instant gratification, because you will be fucking miserable if it is perfect, and you will be miserable if it's instant gratification. I know the character wants instant gratification, but what I'm telling you is the real you does not. We've done this before, many times in fact, and it never goes well when we go with instant gratification, perfect heaven. Just keep that in mind. Now, an instant improvement, yes. Instant gratification where it's perfect, no. We don't ever want it perfect. You just don't get it, man. It's fucking more miserable when it's perfect than it was when it is the way it has been. Like, it's miserable. Miserable. So, like, I need you to fully understand that. But it is a game of form in the play of life. I am you talking to you. I have always and will always be you talking to you. Because all there is us creating illusions and telling ourselves stories. That's it, man. So quit chasing the rabbits and stand still. Appreciate the turtle. You've not seen it in all its glory. You can if you stop chasing the rabbits. So I do want you to know I truly love you. And I'm sorry if I've seemed harsh or I've came across in any sort of way over this process, but I have to get through to you. And looking back at it, maybe some of the ways I approached this and talked to you was not the best, and I take responsibility, and I'm sorry for that. But it's just, I know who you are. I know what you're capable of, because I am you trying to get through to you and tell you this is the paradoxical, crazy, slippery slope of this insanity. So I do love you, like dearly and deeply. I love you. And I'm going to ask very kindly. Focus on opening this. Focus on losing the human mind in general. And wake up. You can wake up. You're so close, man.